everybody and welcome to Astro Tap, the place where we use astrology to tap into your destiny. So today we're going to talk about the rising sign, and the rising sign can also be called the Ascendant. So bear this in mind when you're checking out your own birth chart, and also if you hear me switching from rising sign to Ascendant in this video, because I have a tendency to do that, it means the same thing. So the rising sign is a sign that was rising on the western horizon at the moment you were born, and I specify it's the moment you were born. So to know your rising sign, you need your time of birth and your place of birth, and it's so important to get these accurate because the rising sign changes approximately every 2 hours. So when you were born and you took in that first breath, you were breathing in the qualities of that rising sign. It's your first impressions of the world. And whatever sign your rising sign falls in was the energy you felt when you first became a human being. So the rising sign is how you see the world. So it's the filter that you see the world through. It's the best way you know how to navigate your life. And as we know, life is a mirror. So the energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. So your rising sign is also the way that you appear to other people. Now, the rising sign is so important in your birth chart because the rising sign really is the door into your reality, and it's also the doors into each house in your natal birth chart. So for instance, first house, rising sign, first door, you. The way you navigate the world and the way that you appear to others. Second house, your value systems. What in life do you need to feel secure and to feel stable? Third house, your mindset, your communication, and so on and so on. But to build up this house system and understand your birth chart at a personal level, this rising sign builds up the rest of your birth chart. And because the rising sign has a lot to do with your first impressions, it has a lot to do with your first steps in life. So it can also indicate the energy around your childhood. And the rising sign can also indicate your physical appearance. So a lot of people will hold physical traits from their rising sign, and this makes it so much easier for people to guess your rising sign before they actually guess like your sun sign or your moon sign or your Venus sign, because the rising sign really guards those more intimate placements. The rising sign can also indicate the energy around your birth, so your journey down the birth canal, and the rising sign can also indicate the way that you rise every morning, so the way that you wake up. Because when you open your eyes in the morning, a new day is born. So a lot can be said about somebody's morning routine when you look at their rising sign. Now, another thing to take into consideration is the planet that rules your rising sign. So for instance, if you're an Aries rising, Mars is the planet that rules your rising sign. And whatever planet rules your rising sign is actually your whole chart ruler. So every house will have a little aspect of this Mars energy. Now, we're not really going to go into this in this video, but I will tell you each planet that rules each sign, and I will do a future video on this. Another thing to take into consideration is if you have your birth chart handy, check whether you have any planets conjunct your ascendant. Now, a conjunct means any planets 10 degrees away from your ascendant. I'll pop a chart example up here or here. And as you can see in this chart, it is my chart because I am a prime example for this, because as you can see, I have Uranus conjunct the ascendant, Neptune conjunct the ascendant, the moon conjunct the ascendant, and the north node conjunct the ascendant. Now, any planets that are conjunct the ascendant in the 12th house, you will have some past life connection to those planets and those energies. So for instance, my persona will be very Capricorn-esque, so Saturn-like, Neptune-like, and Uranian-like. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. And any planets underneath, you will have those traits, but they will be less seen and more personal to you. Again, I will do a future video on this just to explain this a bit better, but it is something to check out. And if you do find that you have any planets conjunct your ascendant, check the sign that goes with each planet, and you can also watch the video for that sign as well. So in this video, I will go through your general traits, your physical appearance regarding your rising sign, your journey down the birth canal. I will try and predict that. Maybe you want to chat to your mum or something to find out the deets, and how you rise and shine each morning. But first, I will be showing you a few celebrities which share your rising sign, just so that you have some examples. And I've chosen reality TV stars because the rising sign is that first sign that people are going to see when they meet you. And as mentioned, you are hiding your more intimate chart placements behind that rising sign. So when you're a reality TV star, you are probably going to show the traits of your rising sign before you get to the nitty gritty, like the moon sign. So you may see someone's moon sign if they get triggered, but day to day when they've got a camera in their face, you're gonna see their rising sign. Sagittarius Rising and Ascendant. Let's have a look at the reality TV stars which share your rising sign. So first up, we have the beautiful Kim Kardashian from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the star of the whole shebang, EJ Johnson from Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, and Cheryl Cole, who originally became famous from the pop reality TV show Pop Stars. That's really old and that's showing my age. But she was also a judge on X Factor. You have a fire rising sign. So this means that you're very bold, courageous, you're go-getters, and you love adventure. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So your rising sign is ruled by Sagittarius, but your whole birth chart also has that Jupiter planetary kind of flavor to it. So Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, and Jupiter likes to expand on things. It is the luckiest planet, so wherever you have Jupiter, you have luck and abundance. If you have Jupiter ruling your birth chart, you are extremely lucky, and I am extremely jealous. But it makes sense why we've got Kim Kardashian in there, who is the star of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, one of the most successful reality TV shows in history. And also EJ Johnson, Rich Kids of Beverly Hills. Cheryl Cole, my gosh, like she's had so much success. I don't really follow Cheryl, so I don't really know what she does these days, but she seems to have had some very lucky opportunities within her career. She's the one who stood out the most when it came to Girls Aloud. That's the band she was in, if you're not aware. And you are a mutable rising sign, so you understand that life has ebbs and flows. You like change, you thrive in change, you get bored if you don't experience change. So your life will theme around switching. You may switch jobs very often, you may switch relationships, you may also switch countries because Jupiter is about overseas travel, so you may actually hop from country to country. It's very natural for Jupiter rising to travel. You're really cool with that and you enjoy it. So you have a larger than life persona, and you have a big reputation. Your personality stands out and you're extremely impactful. You're usually known for something because you have big goals and you have a lot of determination to work towards those goals. Life is an adventure and you like to explore and you like to expand. And this is where the opportunistic aspect of your rising sign comes in. Because you like to travel, you tend to meet new people, and when you explore, you tend to see more places. You tend to be able to have a strong understanding of the world around you and different cultures, so you naturally have this ability to adapt to pleasing people on a worldwide scale rather than just a community scale, if that makes sense, because your opposite sign is Gemini. Now Gemini does rule the community, so Geminis are super popular within their community. Sagittarius have that more expanded view. They want to have worldwide population, and with a lot of Sagittarius risings, they will have that aspect to them where they kind of have that worldwide domination kind of vibe to them. I mean, Kim Kardashian is a great example of that. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is a worldwide brand. Now, Sagittarius risings are the life and soul of the party. They're always happy and they're always optimistic and they're really uplifting people. This tends to make them very popular people. And again, this has a lot to do with that worldwide domination, because people want to be like Sagittarius rising. People want to be with Sagittarius rising. People want to buy stuff from Sagittarius rising because you're infectious in a way. And you have a go hard or go home kind of attitude. You always reach your goals, and if you don't reach a goal, it's normally because you didn't want to reach it, or you realize halfway towards it, it wasn't gonna have the payoff that you wanted. Because that goes with money as well. You're gonna go in the direction which has the biggest payoff. But this is a big thing when it comes to jobs and work. You'd really struggle in a minimum wage job because you want more. Sagittarius risings do have this I want more kind of vibe to them. So a great example of this is my son, because he's got half his chart in Sagittarius, even though he's not a Sagittarius rising. But when it comes to birthdays and Christmases, because his birthday and Christmas coincides with each other, so he tends to have 1 week of the year where he gets a hell of a lot of presents. So you give him a bunch of presents and he's like, okay, more. And then you're like, okay, well, I've got presents from your grandparents, so have that. Opens them, more. And then you give him presents from like friends, more. His ego gets bigger, he wants more, more, more. There is no curbing the desires of a Sagittarius rising. They just want more. It's probably quite exhausting for them, but yeah, they just seem to have this endless energy and this endless optimism that it's just very natural for them to just go for more. Now, Sagittarius risings always pull the best out of every situation. They live for those good vibes. Now, Sagittarius risings are truth seekers. They have a strong activist nature. They want to make a difference. They're extremely generous. They have the ability to accumulate a lot of abundance, but they're very generous with that abundance. And when it comes to their need for justice, it's not just their own justice, it's worldwide justice. Again, it's that worldwide domination energy. Now, Sagittarius risings can be very stubborn with their decision making, but it is because they put a lot of energy and a lot of force into the decisions that they do make. And before a Sagittarius rising preaches something, you know that they've done the legwork behind it and they've done the research. So they're truly preaching something they believe. Sagittarius risings have this cult leader kind of vibe to them. They rule the 9th house. The 9th house also rules culture. So culture. Get it? But when a Sagittarius rising is a leader of a cult, they normally have the best intentions of their disciples at heart. And because of this cult-like nature, they do tend to like to be part of something big as well. So they could be highly religious, highly spiritual, live life by a higher power or a higher knowledge. So they could be that kind of Zen, namaste kind of friend, because they want to be part of something bigger. So the appearance of the Sagittarius rising. So Sagittarius rules the thighs and the bum, and they are ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So everything's big. So they tend to have sturdy thighs and a big bum. And again, Kim Kardashian is a really great example of that. And even before Kim Kardashian had her enhancements, you can tell by her body shape that she is a natural hourglass. But alongside this, they could be very tall, they could be very wide. No matter what, they're going to have an aspect of big and expansion to them. So it could be big features, it could be big boobs, or it could be big hair. There's going to be something big on them. When they walk in a room, they have the kind of appearance where everyone looks at a particular big body part. It's like, whoa, like I don't see that every day kind of body part. And naturally, Sagittarius risings are very expressive, so they could have a loud booming voice or a signature laugh, but they do have such a noticeable presence, and you will find that when a Sagittarius rising walks in the room, they will be noticed, and they're very iconic. Sagittarius risings are the icons. Like, people get obsessed with Sagittarius rising, and I totally understand why. So when it comes to the birth of the Sagittarius rising, I can imagine the birth was quite extravagant. I can even imagine maybe like the run up to the birth was extravagant. So maybe your mom had a big baby shower for you, or you had a big family expecting you. One of those births where the delivery room was full to the max, and you could have blasted down that birth canal like boom, I'm here everybody. So it could have been quite a quick birth. Because of this, I do feel like pain relief was needed. So your mum probably did have pain relief, because again, your big body parts had to go down that birth canal and through that vajay. So I can imagine your mum was like, epidural. And there could have actually been some severe tears due to you being a big ass baby. Now, how Sagittarius rises and shines every morning. Honestly, I think everyone needs a Sagittarius rising as an alarm clock every morning. Like, if you want to wake up happy and optimistic, you need a Sagittarius rising living in your house. You do like to wake up in your own time, and you do like to go with the flow, because Sagittarius in general doesn't like to feel restricted. They like their own freedom. You may do a morning ritual or a morning mantra because of your spiritual beliefs. Now, I do feel like Sagittarius rising likes a lion, but to get a Sagittarius rising out of bed, you need something to be excited about. So I'd suggest, if you are a Sagittarius rising that struggles to get out of bed in the morning, plan your days the night before. Make sure you've got something planned to wake up for, because if you're tempted by a social or a new experience, you'll get up in a flash. Now, like most fire signs, you need about 8 hours sleep average, but you do tend to burn a lot of energy in the day, so you tend to be able to drift off at night quite easily. So that is your rising sign, and I hope you found this video to be interesting and informative. If you resonate, please comment down below and drop me a like if you like this video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, because I would love to see more of you, and I shall see you next time. Bye.